Celeb Secrets is here hanging out with rising superstar Jenna Raine, and you have a brand new project on the horizon. We're going to get into all of that today, but can you start out by telling us just a little bit about the project itself?
Okay, so this EP is chapter 2 of a little bit of a music series I've got going on. I've already come out with Big Dumb Heart chapter 1, which is more of a sad take on life and emotions and just growing up. But this second EP, this second chapter, I'm so excited for because I have just been wanting to be a light in a dark world. And I feel like I've just been, releasing a lot of sad stuff. So for this second EP, I decided to put a complete twist on just the message behind all of the lyrics. And it's just a more positive take on growing up and adulthood and saying hi to new friends, I guess, and just great people being in your life. So this second EP, I'm so beyond excited for, and I think it captures the exact moment that I'm in life right now, which is very exciting because I'm finally telling my own story.
Now, one of the most notable tracks on this EP is your recent single, It Is What It Is, which has just been blowing up. So can you talk a little bit about that song in particular?
I had just gotten back from tour with Joshua Bassett, and it was a London flight, so I was super jet lagged and super exhausted. So right before the session, I did all of my laundry and I shrunk my 2 favorite pair of jeans I'd had for like 4 years, and I cried about it. And then I got in my car and there was like a bunch of lights on in my car that I was like about to have a panic attack. I was like, can I not drive? Like, what's going on? So I was kind of panicking before this session. So I walked in and they're like, well, like, how has life been? Like, what do you want to write about? And I was like, well, I have this title, but it's like supposed to be about heartbreak. And I was like, that's just not how I'm feeling right now. So then I kind of vented about like the little things life had been kicking me in the butt about. And so that's how It Is What It Is became what it is.
I love that because that just proves that inspiration is everywhere. In general, where do you tend to find your inspiration for new music?
I keep going back into how I felt in high school. I think I was in a habit of writing for other people a lot because I did this like 100 song challenge thing on TikTok and would write whatever people wanted me to write, whether it was from my particular emotions or not. But lately I have been thinking about 16, 17-year-old me and being like, what music did I need at that point in time? And that's kind of what I've been taking inspiration from, is just what I think me and my friends needed at that point in our lives. And I think there's a huge space and like a lot of room for artists to like write happy music and to write uplifting stuff that's going to make you smile and laugh and like create happy memories rather than associating really sad stuff to the songs. So I've been kind of taking inspiration from that and kind of writing to my younger self.
Are there any artists that you really look up to when creating new music?
This is crazy because I literally met her a few weeks ago and she like knows who I am, which is insane to think about. But I take a lot from like Tori Kelly. When I was 12, she was like, her and Meghan Trainor were the 2 people that I looked up to as like literal role models. I was so in love with the fact that they were just fully themselves and like just such a bright light. And I was like, I want to be that for people. So I think I'm finally like weaving my way into that lane and trying to figure out what that means music wise and lyrically and melodically. And I feel like it's all starting to piece together. But I would definitely say Tori Kelly, Meghan Trainor were my 2 biggest inspirations, and that's from back when like 7 years ago when I was 12. I remember it so specifically.
You mentioned being on the road with Joshua Bassett, which I'm sure was so much fun. So can you talk a little bit about what that experience was like for you?
That tour was the first time I got to sing See You Later live for a crowd that actually knew the words because I'd only performed it before I released the song, and it was for like fundraisers and like a bunch of older people that were like, who's this chick? I was so nervous, but I had no idea that people were actually gonna know my song. So it just made my heart really happy. Like I was like, fingers crossed, but maybe not. But when everybody started singing See You Later or the other songs that they just happened to know, it was such a sweet feeling and just reminded me to keep going. And it was a huge inspiration switch for me. His fans are insanely sweet and just so loving. They're so loving and they listen so well. I mean, I was an opener and I feel like being an opener can always be a little bit scary, but they were so attentive and like focused in on me and the other openers. It was the sweetest feeling because they were like genuinely excited to see everybody.
You mentioned See You Later, which is the track that really catapulted you into the music industry. So how has your life changed since then?
Well, when I wrote See You Later, it really was like, oh, this is my last hurrah before I go to college type of thing. I was like, I'm just gonna release it for fun. People were excited about it on TikTok. I was not expecting the song to take off the way that it did. I don't think I've really ever fully even comprehended what happened during that time period. But it's been really cool to watch that happen within almost the past 2 years. It's been since I released, which is crazy to think about. From 17 to 19, it's been a ginormous journey. I mean, I was not planning on moving to LA. I was not planning to not go to college, and I'm just very far from home. So it's been a huge adventure, and it's been really cool just to meet new people, new friends, other artists that I can relate to and be like, oh my gosh, yes. At home, I didn't always have people that I could talk to that like understood the stress of it all. And so it's been really cool. But this journey has led, I think, from writing basically sad songs for other people to songs that are happy and for me. And it's been a ginormous journey of just trying to find that sound sonically and lyrically, but it's been definitely worth the while.
Since a lot of your music does come from things that you have experienced in your life and have gone through in your life, how do you kind of channel that ability to be open in your music and put out those real, genuine stories?
I think I've always been a very open book. I don't really have anything that scary to hide necessarily. I don't like have any bad blood with anyone. So it's kind of sweet to like know that what I'm putting out there, I'm not going to be upset if anybody hears it, you know? So that's really cool. But it's definitely a vulnerable spot. But I think I like let that wall down a really long time ago. A lot of people know that I was in a girl group from like 10 to 14. So like any embarrassment that I had to have had about being in the public eye just completely went out the window. So at this point, I'm like, anybody listen, see it. It just kind of doesn't hit me the way that it probably should if I'm being that vulnerable. So
aside from the release of Big Dumb Heart Chapter 2, what other plans do you have for the near future?
I am definitely planning on going out on the road. I want to make sure I have like the perfect set, which is really exciting because with the music that's out, like it is what it is. I teased my other song, Cruise Control, yesterday. I'm just excited to be on stage and go on the road because it's going to be such a fun show rather than it all being a bunch of ballads and me being like, I hate this. So I'm excited. I think it'll be a blast. But I definitely have a lot more to say with music and just, I don't know, I'm going to keep releasing music until I feel like there's a perfect spot for me to go on the road. But definitely, if it doesn't happen this year, 100% early middle next year. So I'm excited to go out on the road. I've been bothering my team about it for over a year now, so they understand.
Lastly, Jenna, we are Celeb Secrets. So do you have any behind the scenes secrets about yourself or fun facts that people wouldn't necessarily expect?
I guess like one of the secrets of like new listeners wouldn't know, I was in a girl group for 4 years called L2M and I had red hair. I never like to mention the fact that I had red hair for 4 years, but it's just a huge part of my life, like a ginormous chunk of my life because I'm only 19. So I can't really hide that, but a lot of people haven't seen it because it's slowly made its way like lower and lower in the timeline. I played softball for 8 years and was like more of an athlete than a musician. I still kind of feel like sometimes I am because like sometimes music doesn't naturally come to me as it does for a lot of other people. And I'm like, oh, sports are just so much easier. I pour my milk before I pour my cereal. And I know that's horrendous, but it's a secret about me that I cannot hide. Everybody at the camp yesterday, I'm at a writing camp, freaked out. They're like, Jenna? Like, I'm scared.